Welcome to the only sales podcast you ever need to listen to. I am your host, Benjamin the Great. If you're not dominating the market, then you are not part of it. This is the APGH Sales Strategy podcast where complacency dies and warriors are forged. Tune in and get inspired. Or rise, sales warriors. This is where we separate amateurs from assassins. In this segment, I'm breaking down how most salespeople fumble the pitch, fold under pressure, or beg for the sale. And then I'll show you what happens when you step in with precision, posture, and the APGH sales strategy. Because in sales, your words are your weapons. Use the wrong ones, you lose the deal. Use the APGH sales strategy. You lead, you guide, and you close with confidence. So let's dive in. Hi, Zianda. I hope you're doing well. Do you have a minute? Actually, can I have 10?
Hi, Buti. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't have 10, but I give you a minute.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. So I want to talk to you about this amazing opportunity that will only take a bit of your time. It's super important for your business.
Oh, hey, ngathi sila sindaba yakho Buti. And I'm jumping into a meeting right now. Can you call me later?
Yeah, sure. No problem. Later, what time? There you have it. Just wow. I don't know about your guys' take, but here's my take. The first sentence, the opening line just screams self-sabotage because you ask for a minute and then boom, ufuna 10 minutes. So that's a bad way to start a call because you immediately contradicted yourself by saying, actually, can I have 10? That was unnecessary for you to say. As a result, you already messed up an opportunity to build rapport because you sound unsure, and if you sound unsure, why should a prospect keep listening to you? Translation, that's broken trust. If your first sentence does not project authority, confidence, or frame you as an industry expert, why should a prospect believe anything else you say? Think about it. Another thing, your pitch creates time anxiety. Time is one of the most precious and protected commodity, and you started by minimizing your ask, which is great, but then suddenly you inflated your ask like that time eggs shot to the roof and nobody could afford buying eggs. That, my sales warriors, triggers the brain's defensive and resistant mechanism whereby prospect will shut you down immediately. And do you know why? You're disrespecting their time by acting like it's negotiable when in reality it's the first thing that buyers try to protect. And besides, anyone can afford to grant you a minute, but asking for 10 when somebody doesn't even know you, that's a risk you can't afford to take. Speaking of risk, here's another point. You lose authority immediately. Instead of sounding like a confident problem-solving expert, you sound like someone asking for a favor, begging for time. And the result, you've lowered your perceived status, which in sales destroys influence. The prospect now sees you as a typical salesperson rather than an expert. And when your status gets lowered, you lose whatever little advantage you had, and that's basically shooting yourself on the foot. That said, the call should have ended. But guess what? Some prospects are not rude. So Zianda admitted that she can offer you 1 minute and not 10 minutes, which means say what you have to say, but be quick. And what was the result? You fumbled. Instead of being direct and to the point, you beat around the bush. This is a clear sign that you lack confidence. And like I said before, you can't be making calls if you can't project confidence because you end up saying things that are not clear. But here's some food for thought. Do you honestly think she will answer the call when you call later? If not, why do you think that is? But most importantly, why do you still use this approach? Why do you not change it? It's one thing to be confident in your approach, and it's another thing to hear yourself. Sometimes you just need to record your calls so that you can hear how you sound and identify where you always go wrong. But enough said, let's see how the call will go if you are using the APG sales strategy. Hi, Zianda. I know your time is important, so I'll be quick. All I need is 30 seconds to tell you why I'm calling. Then you can decide if this call is worth continuing. Sounds good?
Yena ngikhona ngibhuti mama.
Thanks for that. So, Pegasus Swam, ngisebenza nama-companies, big and small, who are struggling with sales performance. And I've recently helped ENCD increase their appointment ratio by 50%. Does that sound like something your sales team might need?
No, but our team is struggling with lead generation. If you can help with that, then sina something as I am sure.
Now that's what I'm talking about. You see, with the APGH sales strategy, you either introduce the objection, or when the objection is introduced, you acknowledge it. This lowers the prospect's guard, making them more willing to listen because time is a high status currency. What do I mean by this? Well, to answer your question, everyone wants to be perceived as important. So if you are asking for someone's time, chances are they will tell you they ain't got no time, even if they're not busy. So by asking for less, you are basically complimenting them and you are indirectly saying they are important. And who doesn't want to feel in control? Come on, guys, by establishing permission and giving the prospect a sense of control, they lower their guard, right? And by saying, all I need is 30 seconds to tell you why I'm calling, first of all, it's not a big ask, right? So they don't feel intimidated, right? And then secondly, the way you say it is not framed as a bait, because normally when someone asks for a minute, they end up rambling for more than a minute. So most clients are used to that lie. That's why they don't fall for it. So how you frame your words can either make or break the deal. Always remember that. And another thing, you gave the prospect control without giving up your authority as their guide. This tactic is rooted in the psychology of choice. When people feel they have an option to say no, they're more likely to say yes. But if they feel like they're pressured to say yes, that's when they say no. So don't forget that. And lastly, you're also creating a micro commitment. What do I mean by that? It's easier to say yes to 30 seconds than to a full conversation. That said, my last point is, whenever you are using the APGH sales strategy, you must lead the conversation with relevant and social proof. Because when you do, you are showing the prospect that you solve problems, not just sell things. And that's the foundation of the APGH sales strategy, to look for a problem and solve it. When you are using the APGH sales strategy, you don't sell products or services, you sell solutions, period. And when you sell solutions, you have to use soft qualifying and closing questions. Why? It's all about consultative selling and not being pushy, because when you said, does this sound like something your sales team might benefit from? You're not assuming they need it. Instead, you are inviting them to reveal their needs. This opens the door to discovery, which is where the real selling begins.